Lindemann from Germany have been making hi-fi components for over 28 years. And it really shows with their Musicbook Source, which is not only ultra modern, it makes a very compelling argument for itself that it's all one would ever need. When it comes to style, beauty is always in the eye of the beholder, but I think you would have to have something in your eyes to not think that the Musicbook Source is a very lovely, very modern looking hi-fi component. And to me, it doesn't necessarily look German. I think it looks more Scandinavian. It could have easily come off the shelf of IKEA. Its shape, its overall form factor with its nice curves and subtle accents are all possible because the chassis is milled from one solid piece of aluminium, and that is not something that you see every day, and certainly not at this kind of money. Build quality is also fantastic. The power on and off switch feels ultra premium, as does the volume dial. You think that that huge black section on the front is going to be some big uber amazing screen, and that is not what we get, and that's probably an expectation too far. Either way, the Musicbook Source is a hi-fi component you're going to want to show off. It's a component that will easily fit into any room with any decor, especially due to its size. As you can see, it's not that much bigger than an iPad. The Musicbook Source may be small, but Lindemann have packed a hell of a lot into it. It's a music streamer giving you access to Tidal, Qobuz, Deezer, Spotify Connect, high-res audio and Roon. You also have access to internet radio and internet-based podcasts. And I think all of these things are expected nowadays from modern hi-fi streamers, but there is more. The Musicbook runs on Lindemann's 4.0 streaming platform, which allows for up to DSD 256 file playback. If you look at the rear, you can see the Musicbook Source has both wired and wireless network connections. You can see 2 digital inputs, 3 analog inputs, including a moving magnet phono stage. There is both single-ended and balanced analog outputs because the Musicbook features its own DAC, or really DACs, plural. The DACs used are the AKM AK4493 used in dual mono. So there are 2 DAC chips being fed from a Femto clock, and you can have upsampling up to 1-bit DSD. The Musicbook's preamplifier is all analog. On the front of this model is a slot loading mechanism for playing CDs, and not hidden is a socket for headphones. And Lindemann say the headphone output is powerful and capable enough of driving even the most demanding headphones such as Magnio static headphones and such like. And that is all pretty cool and very impressive. And there are some other features like the Musicbook will find other media on your network and you can find and play that as well. And this is all controlled via Lindemann's own app, which is available on both Android and iOS. You can choose to buy an additional remote control, but I think 99.9% of owners will fully control their Musicbook using Lindemann's own app because it is brilliant and brilliantly simple. Once the Musicbook is connected to your network, the Lindemann app finds it straight away. And then you have an initially basic set of menu options. And I like this because it's pretty clear and obvious what is and what does what. I found the main settings easily enough, updated the firmware via the network, again, really easily. And in the settings, you have the connection and options for setting up your Wi-Fi. Within settings, you have device settings where you can control your analog input gains, the headphone amplifier output gain, your balance, and the different DAC modes. And I will discuss the different DAC modes when we talk about sound quality. It took me literally no time to be about 90% confident in terms of using the Lindemann app to control the music book, to play music from CDs or from streaming services. And at the moment, I use Qobuz because I appreciate Qobuz's large library of high quality and high resolution music. And I think the integration of Qobuz into the Lindemann app and the Musicbook Source is exceptional. You can browse your favorite albums, tracks, and playlists, and that is pretty much a given. But you can also browse Qobuz's Discover, which is its music suggestion feature. And I love this feature about Qobuz because I always find new artists and albums and music to listen to. You can do this better inside the Lindemann app than you can the Qobuz app because it gives you more options. Better still, if you find an album or a track that you like, you can add it to your Qobuz favorites in a couple of different ways. And this is brilliant for when you go on the road and then you stop using the Lindemann app and start using the Qobuz app, because your music library can grow on both much easier than having to add albums to both different apps independently or individually, which can be a real PIA. You can also add albums and tracks to Qobuz playlists or create playlists within the Lindemann app, which is very cool. General navigation around the app is again very simple, with the main buttons for everything being very clear and obvious, with the only odd screen flick to the right or left or up and down being necessary. There is some very cool information available within the app, such as the music quality you are listening to with the data rate of that music, or tap on the album art and it shows you some interesting album metadata. Volume is controlled with the main slider at the bottom, and the volume change responsiveness I think is much faster than a normal remote control. It's pretty near instant or real time with the app, which is really very impressive. I will say, be careful with the volume control, especially if you're using the balanced outputs, because at maximum volume, the music book will output 5 volts. And within the system that I was using, I found between maybe 40 and 50 as being the difference between the optimum volume and being too loud. And this again is not an issue. This fine level of control in the volume is really not an issue, because the volume control responsiveness within the Lindemann app is so quick and fast and accurate. You can select any of the digital or analog inputs within the app, or select between streaming services or CD playback, and it all happens nearly instantly. Even searching through Qobuz and playing different albums or different songs is uber fast and responsive, with nearly no waiting for anything. You can connect to the music book with Bluetooth and play music that way, and Spotify will instantly connect to the music book and play music. I think hence the name, Spotify Connect. All of this is actually very sophisticated but delivered in a very simple way. And all of this is outside of Roon. So that means if you don't use Roon, you still get a very feature-rich, high-quality experience with the Musicbook Source. And the Lindemann app runs really fast. It was absolutely rock solid. Maybe it's not the most visually beautiful app that you can see, but I think it looks good enough. It works fantastic. And let's face it, your eyes are really going to be drawn on looking at the Musicbook Source itself, because that is where the eye candy is. There are a few different factors to think about when we talk about sound quality, such as what is our music source? Is it coming from Bluetooth? Is it a CD? Is it streaming from our favorite streaming services like Qobuz? And is it Bluetooth, wired or wireless, or does any of that make any difference? I was using the Musicbook Source in a pretty high-end and highly resolving hi-fi system, using it with the ATC SCM50 active speakers. So I was able to use the Musicbook Source from its balanced outputs straight into the ATC speakers. Overall, the sound from the Lindemann was very good. It presents a clean and clear sound that is quite upfront, but not to the point where it becomes hard or harsh or shouty, providing, I was fairly careful with the volume control. There was a nice tonal balance to how it sounds, with quite a full and punchy bass, present and clear vocals, and quite a wide soundstage. It wasn't doing anything that I would say is standout great, but at the same time, it wasn't doing anything that was standout negative. It just delivers a very good, solid overall performance in all the key and critical areas like bass, mid-range, treble, soundstage, clarity, and overall clarity. Now, I did notice some reasonably significant differences in things for sound quality, such as the two different DAC modes. Now, we can choose to listen to the Musicbook Source in PCM mode, which I think is its most direct from that Femto clock to the DAC chip sound mode. Or we can choose to use the DSD mode, which will enable the 1-bit DSD upsampling for everything that we listen to. And interestingly, I think listening to the PCM mode, the sound was more direct, more upfront. Listening to the DSD mode, the sound was a little bit softer, maybe a little bit more diffuse, with a slightly less substantial bass. Not massive differences, but significant and noticeable enough. And I think very interestingly, listening to higher resolution, high quality music from Qobuz, I preferred the PCM mode. Listening to lesser quality music from, say, Spotify Connect over Bluetooth, I preferred the DSD modes. But what is really cool is that you can change between the PCM and DSD mode pretty much instantly. So you can do your own A/B comparisons and testing really very easily, or you can very easily change between modes for one particular album, one particular source or streaming service, or just what you prefer. It's really quick and easy to do, and I really like that aspect. For what it's worth, I found CD to sound better than Spotify Connect over Bluetooth, but I also found high resolution music from Qobuz to sound better than CD. What I think is great about that is the fact that, Qobuz gives us lots of high resolution music, and the fact that the Musicbook Source is a good enough product to give you the benefit, or for you to be able to appreciate the benefit of that higher resolution, better quality source. Wired or wireless? Did it make a difference, and does it matter? Well, I can't say for 100%, but I do feel that connecting to the Musicbook via a wired connection did sound better than the wireless. But unless you was doing A/B comparisons between them on a very high quality hi-fi system, would you ever know the difference, and would you ever care? Probably not. I think for customers that want to use it via wireless, feel confident and reassured you are still getting the sound of the Lindemann Musicbook Source, but maybe just not quite as good. The volume wheel seems to work the opposite way to how you think it would, which is actually kind of cool in a way. It just took me maybe an extra minute or so to retrain my brain and retrain my muscle memory. It could just be that my brain is wired backwards, which probably wouldn't surprise a lot of you. Not coming with an included remote control could be seen as a negative, but that does force owners into using the Lindemann app, and I think in the long run, getting used to the app and getting use out of it, you will actually appreciate it and be thankful for that. I couldn't see any option to set a fixed output volume, which might be a negative for some audiophiles if they just want to use the Musicbook Source as a streamer and a DAC, and not as a streamer, DAC and preamplifier. Obviously, there are solutions to this. get rid of your preamplifier and use the Musicbook Source, or just set it to a volume and leave it. But I think it would be a nice addition to have a tick box or some way of fixing the output volumes. So for all of these positive comments and the distinct lack of negative comments for a product that comes in this very lovely form factor with a really nice control app and this very good sound quality, that means it must be crazy expensive. Well, this particular version with the CD player costs £3,500, but if you don't need the CD player, then the Musicbook Source costs £3,250. So yes, it is a fair chunk of money for a hi-fi component, and of course you can buy cheaper hi-fi streamers that have similar or slightly different features, but I don't think any of those will offer exactly what the Musicbook offers, i.e. this really high feature set, really nice application control, all in this very lovely form factor. And for a lot of people and for a lot of audiophiles, the form factor will really matter. When you combine all of that, the form factor and the sound quality, I think Lindemann have got a lot of audiophiles and just people, general people that want to get into high quality sound. They've got them all covered. I think that leads me nicely onto my final thoughts and comments. No hi-fi components will ever be all things to all audiophiles or all people. But I do think the Lindemann Musicbook Source is good enough to make an argument for itself that it will be all you ever need if you are looking for a modern, a high lifestyle and an easy to fit into your life hi-fi product. And Lindemann also make a matching power amplifier to go with the Source, which could be of interest to those audiophiles who like to visually match their components. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Hit that like button if you did, and subscribe to the Pursuit of Perfect System YouTube channel if you haven't already. Of course you have. If you'd like to know more, come on over to the brand new Pursuit of Perfect System website. I'm really excited about the website. Come and see me over there. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you soon. Stay safe. Take care. Bye.